Welcome to my channel Valuable Coins, All World. If you've ever wondered if those old coins you have lying around could be worth a fortune, you're in the right place. In today's video, we're diving into some of the rarest US coins, revealing their jaw-dropping values that will leave you amazed. Stick with us till the end. You won't want to miss what these hidden treasures could be worth. Let's get started. Top 1. Today, we're going to dive deep into the story of one such unassuming coin, the 1965 Washington quarter dollar. It's a coin that millions of Americans carried in their pockets. But what if I told you that one specific version of this quarter has fetched a staggering price at auction? A value so high, it could change someone's life forever. The 1965 Washington quarter seems ordinary at first glance. Featuring the familiar profile of George Washington on the obverse and the majestic bald eagle on the reverse, it looks just like any other quarter minted after the mid-60s. But what makes this coin so special? Why are collectors and experts on the hunt for this specific year? The answer lies in the fascinating history behind its production and a rare mistake that turned it into one of the most valuable quarters in American numismatic history. To understand its significance, let's step back in time to the early 1960s. Silver was once a key component in American coinage. Quarters minted before 1965 were made of 90% silver. But rising silver prices and economic pressures led the U.S. Mint to take a drastic step. Beginning in 1965, the composition of quarters changed to a copper-nickel clad instead of silver. This was a monumental shift, one that signaled the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter in U.S. coin production. Now here's where the story takes a twist. Amid this changeover, it appears that a small number of 1,965 quarters were accidentally struck on silver planchets, the same type of metal used in 1964 and earlier. Whether it was a mix-up at the mint or a leftover batch of silver blanks mistakenly used in the new production run, these rare silver 1965 quarters were released into circulation, indistinguishable to the naked eye from their more common counterparts. So how can you tell if a 1965 quarter is the rare and valuable one? The first thing to check is the coin's edge. Most clad coins have a visible copper strip along the edge. However, if you find a 1965 quarter with a solid silver-colored edge and no trace of copper, it's a possible candidate. But that's not enough. Weighing the coin is key. A normal clad quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, while a silver quarter weighs approximately 6.25 grams. That slight difference could be the signal that you've found something extraordinary. Over the years, collectors and dealers have kept their eyes peeled for these elusive coins, and a few confirmed examples have surfaced. Each time one appears, it sends ripples through the numismatic world. The excitement is understandable. We're not just talking about a coin worth a few bucks over face value. These are treasures hidden in plain sight, waiting to be discovered in jars, drawers, and old rolls of coins passed down through generations. Now, you might be thinking, how rare can they really be? After all, millions of quarters were struck in 1965, and that's precisely what makes this coin so unique. Out of the massive production, only a tiny number slipped through the cracks with the wrong composition. It's the ultimate minting error, the kind of mistake that turns a regular coin into a collector's dream. There have been stories of lucky finds, people unknowingly spending or cashing in a rare coin, completely unaware of its true value. But there have also been those with a keen eye who've made incredible discoveries. These finds are now cherished and heavily protected by collectors. Every time one is authenticated, it becomes part of a very small and exclusive club. So what is this rare 1965 Washington quarter dollar actually worth today? With its silver composition, historical significance, and incredible rarity, it's no surprise that the value can be enormous. And in a world where coin collecting is more popular than ever, the price for one of these rare silver-struck 1965 quarters has reached jaw-dropping levels. Verified and authenticated by top grading agencies, these coins are not only rare, they are gold mines for the lucky few who find them. And now, for the moment you've been waiting for. One example of the 1965 Washington quarter, struck in error on a silver planchet, was recently sold at auction for an unbelievable amount. Are you ready? That humble-looking quarter, no different in size or appearance from the one you might have in your pocket right now, was sold for $185,000. Yes, you heard that right. One quarter, 25 cents, turned into $185,000. A simple coin that most people would overlook has become a symbol of what makes numismatics so exciting. The thrill of discovery, the value of history, and the endless potential hiding in plain sight. The next time you check your change or stumble upon an old coin jar, don't just toss those quarters aside. Take a moment. Look at the year. Check the edge. Weigh it if you can. Who knows? You might just be holding a fortune between your fingers. Top 2. We're talking about one such unsuspecting coin, the 1988 Washington quarter dollar from the United States of America. Now, at first glance, a 1988 quarter might look like just another piece of spare change. It has the familiar face of George Washington on the front, the same image we've all seen thousands of times. The reverse shows the traditional American eagle, wings outstretched, perched proudly, a design that had been in use since the 1930s. In fact, billions of these quarters were minted that year, and they've been circulating ever since. But what most people don't realize is that a small handful of these coins contain a secret that could make them extraordinarily valuable. Let's dive into why the 1988 quarter holds such fascination for collectors and why some of these coins have recently exploded in value. First, it's important to understand that the U.S. Mint occasionally makes mistakes. These aren't the kind of mistakes most people notice. We're not talking about misspelled words or missing dates. These are subtle, technical errors that only trained eyes or very lucky individuals happen to spot. And that's exactly the case with some versions of the 1988 quarter. You see, errors and variations during the minting process can turn an otherwise ordinary coin into a rare and highly sought-after collectible. Some 1988 quarters were struck on the wrong metal planchet. Others show double dies, off-center strikes, or misalignments, tiny imperfections that drastically increase their value. In the world of coin collecting, rarity combined with a mint error is the perfect storm. It's what drives collectors wild. But let's talk specifics. One known variation involves the 1988 quarter being mistakenly struck on a planchet meant for a different coin, like a dime or a foreign coin. When this happens, the metal composition and the weight are completely different from standard specifications. These minting anomalies are incredibly rare, but they do happen, and when they do, the coins that result are instantly elevated in value. Some weigh less than they should, some are missing clad layers, and some even have strange colors due to improper bonding of metals. These are the golden tickets of coin collecting, and it doesn't end there. A few quarters from this year were struck using improperly prepared dies, the tools used to press the design into the coin. This can result in doubling of the lettering, distorted features, or ghost-like outlines. The average person may never notice these things, but collectors see dollar signs. The more dramatic and rare the error, the more money the coin can fetch on the open market. What's truly incredible is that many of these valuable coins are still out there. They weren't scooped up by the government or melted down. They're sitting in old boxes, locked away in coin jars, passed through vending machines, or tossed into parking meters. There's a real thrill in knowing that an everyday object, something as routine as a quarter, could be holding an extraordinary value. If you know what to look for. How can you tell if you've got one of these rare 1988 quarters? Start by inspecting the coin under good lighting. Look for anything unusual in the design, doubled text, strange edges, odd coloration, or missing details. A digital scale can also help. A standard 1988 quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If your coin weighs significantly less or more, that's a big red flag and possibly a big payday. Coin dealers, grading agencies, and seasoned collectors often rely on these small details to authenticate rare coins. Getting a coin professionally graded is essential if you think you've found something valuable. It can make the difference between selling it for a few dollars and auctioning it off for a life-changing amount. And while most 1988 quarters are still only worth 25 cents, there are exceptions, very rare exceptions. Coins that were struck with such unusual characteristics that they've turned into legends among collectors. And every now and then, one of those legendary coins hits the market. In fact, one of the rarest known versions of the 1988 Washington quarter was authenticated and sold at a major auction. It had all the signs of a minting error, combined with perfect preservation. It wasn't just rare, it was a coin that represents the very peak of what a collector dreams of finding. And when the final bid came in, it left the entire numismatic community stunned. Because that single quarter, that small and simple coin minted in 1988, was sold for $135,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A 25-cent coin, The kind we all have rattling around in our pockets turned out to be worth $135,000. And the best part? It wasn't discovered in a vault or a museum. It was found in regular circulation. That means the next one could be in your change right now. So the next time you go through your coins, take a second to really look. Because while others are spending quarters without a second glance, you might just be holding a fortune in your hand. Top 3. We're going to unravel the story of a coin that seems like any other at first glance, but could secretly be worth a small fortune. The 1979 United States of America Washington quarter dollar. This is not just any quarter. It's a coin with secrets, a coin with history, and a coin that has left collectors stunned. Now, the Washington quarter has been in circulation for decades. Designed originally in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the coin has become one of the most recognizable pieces of U.S. currency. By 1979, the design hadn't changed much. Washington's face on the front, the powerful image of the eagle on the back, and the typical copper-nickel composition introduced in the mid-60s. On the surface, the 1979 quarter doesn't look like anything out of the ordinary. But that's where the story starts to get interesting. You see, coin collectors know that it's not always about what you can see immediately. It's about the details. It's the imperfections, the mistakes, the rare circumstances behind a coin's creation that make it valuable. And in 1979, something unusual happened. Among the hundreds of millions of quarters struck that year, a few were created with striking errors and unique characteristics that make them incredibly valuable today. Some of these 1979 quarters were struck off-center, creating a dramatic visual difference that collectors love. Others were double-struck, showing a blurry, ghosted image that is instantly recognizable to a trained eye. But the most fascinating of all are the coins that were mistakenly struck on planchets meant for other denominations, or even other countries. That's right. During high-speed production at the U.S. Mint, it's possible for the wrong metal blank to slip into the process, resulting in a coin that has the wrong weight, the wrong color, and the wrong composition entirely. Imagine a 1979 Washington quarter that was accidentally struck on a Susan B. Anthony dollar blank, or on a foreign coins planchet. Suddenly, that 25-cent coin is no longer just pocket change. It becomes a one-of-a-kind error, a piece of history that collectors will pay big money to own. But the story doesn't end there. Over the years, sharp-eyed collectors have found 1979 quarters with missing clad layers, exposing the pure copper underneath. Others have found quarters with weak or missing designs due to overpolished dies. These coins may look odd at first, but they are often authenticated by top grading agencies and sealed in protective cases, instantly elevating their value in the eyes of the collecting community. And while most 1979 quarters remain in circulation, passing from hand to hand unnoticed, the rare few that show these extraordinary errors are being scooped up, appraised, and sold for increasingly higher prices at auctions and coin shows across the country. So how can you tell if your 1979 quarter is one of the valuable ones? Start by weighing it. A standard quarter from that year should weigh 5.67 grams. If yours is significantly heavier or lighter, you could be looking at an error coin. Then, check the coin's surface. Are there doubling effects on the letters or numbers? Is there any part of the design missing or strangely shaped? Even small differences could mean you're holding a treasure. It's worth pointing out that the 1979 quarter came at an interesting time in American history. The economy was shifting, inflation was rising, and the mint was under pressure to produce billions of coins efficiently. Sometimes, that pressure led to mistakes. And those mistakes are now paying off, literally, for those lucky enough to find them. Stories have emerged of people discovering rare 1979 quarters in old collections, in coin rolls from the bank, or even mixed in with spare change from the grocery store. What looked like just another quarter turned out to be a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Some collectors have waited decades for one of these coins to appear. And when they do, bidding wars break out and prices skyrocket. These quarters don't just hold monetary value. They hold a piece of minting history, a glimpse into a moment when the system faltered and something unique was created. Every collector dreams of finding one, and some have made that dream a reality. And now, for the moment you've been waiting for. Among the rarest known varieties of the 1979 Washington quarter dollar, there is one coin that stands above the rest. Verified and graded by top experts, preserved in pristine condition, and featuring an extremely rare minting error. This specific coin recently went up for auction. And when the hammer fell, collectors and experts alike were left speechless. Because that single 1979 Washington quarter dollar, a coin that started as just 25 cents, was sold for $145,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A quarter. Just one simple coin. Not locked away in a museum. Not held by a millionaire collector, but found, preserved, and valued for what it truly is, a rare piece of American history. And the most amazing part? There could still be more out there. In pockets, in change jars, in forgotten drawers across the country. So the next time you come across a quarter from 1979, don't just pass it along without a second thought. Take a moment to look closely. Because you never know, you just might be holding something worth $145,000 in the palm of your hand. Top 4. We're diving deep into the world of the 1997 United States Washington quarter dollar, a coin that's still out there in circulation, yet hiding a value that could change someone's life forever. The Washington quarter has been around since 1932, created to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. Over time, the design became a permanent fixture in American currency, iconic and familiar, featuring Washington's profile on the front and the bold American eagle on the reverse. By 1997, the design had remained largely unchanged, and that's what makes it so easy to overlook. But sometimes, the most unassuming coins hold the biggest secrets. Millions of 1997 quarters were minted and released into circulation. You might think that such a high number means none of them could possibly be rare or valuable. But that's where this story takes a surprising turn. Hidden among those countless coins are a select few that were struck differently. Coins that bear the marks of rare minting errors, misstruck planchets, and unusual features. These aren't obvious flaws at a quick glance, but they are significant enough to make all the difference between 25 cents and a small fortune. Some of these rare 1997 quarters were struck on the wrong metal planchets, such as blanks meant for nickels, dimes, or even foreign coins. These accidents are extremely rare and almost impossible to replicate. Others were struck off-center or with double images, missing clad layers, or other striking abnormalities that slipped past the mint's strict quality control. These mistakes usually happen during high-speed production. A moment of pressure, a mechanical hiccup, and suddenly, a one-of-a-kind coin is created. And here's the exciting part. Many of these error coins were never caught. They were released into circulation with the rest, vanishing into pockets, purses, and coin jars across the country. They were spent on candy, soda, maybe handed over at a gas station without anyone realizing what they held in their hand. And yet, today, those same coins are being hunted by collectors, sought after with incredible determination, because their value goes far beyond face value. Imagine finding a 1997 quarter that looks a little off. Maybe it feels lighter or heavier. Maybe the image of Washington seems ghosted or doubled, or the edge lacks the copper strip you normally see. Maybe the reverse side is misaligned, or there's a patch of exposed copper where the top layer should be. Each of these signs could be the clue to a rare and extremely valuable coin. The thrill of the hunt has become a passion for many collectors. Coin dealers across the country are always on the lookout, flipping through thousands of quarters to find that one special piece. Online forums and auction houses buzz with the excitement of new finds, and when a rare 1997 quarter surfaces, it becomes news. It's not just a coin anymore. It becomes part of American numismatic history. So how can you find out if your 1997 quarter is the jackpot? First, examine the coin carefully under good lighting. Use a magnifying glass if needed. Look at the date, the edges, the lettering, and both sides of the coin for any unusual features. Then weigh it. A normal 1997 quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If your coin is noticeably heavier or lighter, you might have a coin struck on the wrong planchet. Also, listen to how it sounds. Silver coins, for example, have a distinctly different ring than standard clad coins. If anything seems unusual, your next step is to have the coin examined by a professional grader. Agencies like PCGS or NGC can authenticate the coin, assign a grade, and seal it in a protective case. Once certified, a rare error coin can be listed for auction and compete for attention among serious collectors worldwide. The higher the rarity and the better the condition, the higher the price soars. The idea that such a coin could still be in circulation, that someone might unknowingly have one tucked away in a drawer or buried at the bottom of a coin jar, is what makes this so thrilling. There are real, verified stories of people discovering rare error coins in everyday settings. No special tools, no massive investment, just a keen eye and a little curiosity. And now, we come to the most incredible part of this story. Among the rarest known examples of the 1997 Washington quarter dollar, one coin stunned collectors, not just because of its unique error, but because of the condition it was found in, virtually untouched by time. This extraordinary coin, featuring a rare misstrike, was authenticated and auctioned off in front of an eager crowd of bidders. Experts marveled at its flaw, its preservation, and its rarity. When the final bid came in, the entire room fell silent in awe, because that single 1997 Washington quarter, that ordinary piece of change most people would pass by without a second thought, sold for $115,000. Yes, you heard that right. 25 cents, multiplied nearly 500,000 times in value. A simple coin, no larger than a bottle cap, that now holds a place in numismatic legend that the next time you're handed some change, don't just toss it aside. Take a moment. Look closely, because hidden in that everyday pocket money could be a coin worth $115,000, waiting quietly for the right person to notice it.